Hi guys, Kyler here, and today we are back for part 2 of our LEGO Advent Calendar unboxing series. Last time we did days 1 through 8, so today we will be starting with day 9. And in day 9, we have... looks like a box with some droid parts in it. Alright, and there we have it, a bucket full of droid parts. Now, last time when I was doing the research for editing the video, I did realize that the theme of this advent calendar is Babu Frick's. You know, good old lovable Babu Frick. It is Babu Frick's droid workshop. So this is something I guess you would expect to find in a droid workshop, but as far as just builds go, this is pretty poor to say the least. This looks like it's the leg to like an astromech R2-D2 type droid. And then this is a body to, it looks like the same one they use for the battle droids and the same legs they use for the battle droids, except for their different colors. But I mean, even if you wanted to, this is the most you could build a droid out of these parts. So I just don't think this is very good. If I was the one designing this, I would have put parts in here that could have built the droid if you wanted to. Even if it was miscolored, it'd still be kind of cool. But clearly that's not what they were going for right here. So I'm gonna give this a D-. It's not quite an F to me because it does go with the theme of this being Babu Frick's droid workshop. But overall, it's just not very good and you can't even build anything with it. All right, now moving on to day 10. Hopefully we can at least put something together this time. And in day 10, we have another workbench type thing. All right. All right, folks, and there we have it. This appears to be some sort of a storage thing for tools. It wasn't the worst of builds, but it really wasn't that good. The only really redeeming quality I'd say that this build has is that it does go along with the theme of this being Babu Frick's workshop. So for that reason, I'm going to give this a C-. It is passing, but barely. I do see that there are attachment pieces on the side, which implies that it'll attach to more, things. So maybe when we have it all put together, it'll be better, but for just a one-day build, I'm gonna give this a C-. All right, moving on to day 11. This has not been the best so far, but this could save it. Let's see. And in day 11, we have, it looks like the droid from Andor. All right, folks, and there we have it. This is Andor's droid, I believe, from the show Andor. And if you haven't watched it, highly recommend. Overall, this is definitely the best build we've gotten so far today, which doesn't really say much, but I really have no complaints. I feel like something might be a little off, and maybe that's just me like not knowing what this actually is. But like I said, I think this is Cassian Andor's droid. So I don't know. I think I'm gonna give it a C+. Overall, not a bad build, but I feel like it could be better. All right, folks, well, things are steadily improving so far. Hopefully day 12 will continue that trend. And in day 12, we have... oh, this is, I think, Cal Kestis' droid from Jedi Fallen Order. Interesting. All right, folks, and there we have it. I think this is Cal Kestis' droid, but the color looks different, I think. I could just be misremembering. But overall, this is a cool little thing. Obviously, it doesn't move and you don't build anything with it, but I really like this. The printing on it's pretty good. It does give kind of R2-D2 with the colors. Overall, this isn't much, but the molding on it is pretty cool. And for that reason, I'm gonna give this a B. It might seem wild considering, we didn't build anything or whatever, but this just is a pretty cool little thing. All right, folks, we are steadily improving. Still haven't had anything like outstanding yet, but maybe that'll change in day 13. And in day 13, we have some kind of droid. Obviously, that's a cop-out, but I don't know what this is. All right, folks, and there we have it. I said earlier that I thought this was a droid, but, you know, on further inspection, I do think this is some kind of a vehicle. I really wish I knew what it was, because I feel like if I knew what this was supposed to be, it would really help me in ranking this. But for now, I think I'm just going to give this a B. And I give it a B rating because if it isn't a droid, this is our first non-droid / non-workshop piece that we've gotten. So that would be interesting if it was a vehicle. So for that reason, I am going to give this a B. Not anything super exciting, but you know, it does feel like it is something a little different. So for that reason, I'll give it a B. All right, folks, moving on to day 14. And in day 14, we have... Hey, what the heck is this? All right, folks, and there we have it. I genuinely have no idea what this thing is. It does move, so that's something. I wonder if it's supposed to be like, I don't know. It doesn't really look like a droid. I don't know what this thing is. Here's my thought process with this. If this is just its own thing, the rating for this is super low. But if it's a piece of something bigger, then this could be interesting. But I'm kind of on the fence about it, and I'm kind of leaning towards it. I think this might just be its own thing. So for that reason, I'm going to give this a C-. It really could be worse than that, and maybe it could even be better than that. But I just don't know what this is, and I don't want to give it too harsh of a rating, but it is definitely a weird build. So for that reason, it gets a C-. All right, what a weird build. Moving into day 15, we'll see what we have. And in day 15, we have a Jawa with a Christmas sweater. Whoa, this is way better than anything we've gotten so far. All right, folks, and there we have it, a Jawa with a Christmas sweater. This is by far the best thing that we've gotten in this advent calendar by a long stretch. And I actually am really excited about this because I had no clue he was in here. If you look at his sweater, you can see there's a Gonk droid on it, and then one of these little, you know, Cal Kestis type droids. And then there's also on the back, there's a BB-8 type droid and an R2-D2 astromech type droid. So this is a really, really good thing. These minifigures are exclusive to these advent calendars. You cannot find these figures with the Christmas sweaters anywhere else. And for that reason, this is an easy S rating. Honestly, you might not get anything better than this the whole calendar. And this is a very, very pleasant surprise. All right, folks, I was not expecting what was in day 15 at all. I'm still kind of excited over it. So hopefully that excitement will carry over to day 16. And in day 16, we have some other kind of droid. What a surprise. All right, folks, and there we have it, some kind of droid. I feel like just looking at this droid, it looks like something that would be assisting Babu Frick in his workshop when he works on the other droids. Overall, it's a pretty neat build. I don't have much to say about it because I can't really picture the droid that it's actually based off of. But I do think it's cool that, you know, there's this part that has some articulation to it. Overall, not that exciting of a build, but not that bad either. So for that reason, I'm gonna give this a B rating. I think that's fair. And I do think it is one of the stronger builds we've gotten so far today. All right, moving on to day 17. And in day 17, we have... Ooh, it looks like a B1 battle droid that's been modified. Interesting. All right, folks, and there we have it, a B1 battle droid that has been modified. I don't know the purpose of the modification, but if I had to guess, it'd be so that it's one a good droid and not trying to battle you. And then also my other guess about it would be that so it works without being connected to like a central droid hub or whatever. I really don't know what this is based off of. What comes to my mind is in the Clone Wars when they found that kid that had a bunch of battle droids. And something similar might have happened in one of the live action TV shows. But overall, this is not a bad build at all. It's different than a normal B1 battle droid, so I don't want to give it too low of a rating. But I think I'm gonna give this a C+. It's pretty good, but it's nothing that, you know, blows me away. And yeah. Moving on to the final build that we are going to do today, day 18. And in day 18, we have a bin with droid parts and a B1 battle droid head in it. Interesting. All right, folks, and there we have it. This just appears to be another piece of Babu Frick's workshop. If you look, it does have a connector piece, so it can connect to the other stuff we've gotten that's a part of the workshop. Overall, this isn't a bad build. I do like all the colors that they have on these little, you know, looks like canisters right here. Kind of aesthetically pleasing because of that. I will say that overall, it's kind of early, but we are, you know, 2/3 of the way through. I do think this calendar is maybe a little less interesting as far as the builds go than some of them in the past because, you know, there's not spaceships and whatever. But I do feel like this one might be one of the more aesthetically pleasing display pieces once everything's done. I do think that this will look like a workshop, if that makes sense. Some of the other ones have been a little less uniform as far as what you're building. But this one I think will look good when everything's set up together. But some of the builds on their own are kind of boring as a result. But overall, as far as this build goes, I think I'm gonna give this a C rating. Not bad. Like I said, I really love the colors in it. And you know, I do think it might be a little worse than a C on its own, but given the fact this is supposed to be a part of a workshop, I don't think it's all that bad. So we're gonna give it a C. All right, folks, now here's everything that we got today. By far, the best thing is this Jawa with the Christmas sweater. It's not even close. And I'd say the worst thing is this bin of random droid parts. But overall, I had fun. I'd like to thank everyone for coming out. I'd like to thank everyone who supports these videos. I know they're maybe not what a lot of you subscribe to this channel for, but I enjoy making them a lot, and it really helps to get me in the Christmas spirit. So thank you to everyone who, you know, supports these videos. It means a lot to me. And yeah, I'll see you all in the next one. Be on the lookout for part 3. Peace.